Okay, this video will walk you through how to make a more efficient, effective plan before you write your AP rhetorical analysis essay. If you find yourself often running out of time and during timed writings and you want to brush up or improve on your timing before the test, this video will hopefully walk you through a strategy and some steps you can take and things you can remember so that you can more effectively plan before you write. The idea is that if you have a really good plan of what you're going to say, an overview of what you're going to say, you can then focus on what the test is about, which is how you say it. And you can focus on putting your best foot forward and how you're communicating and showing off your language skills to the graders. Maybe the biggest key for this type of essay is that you really only have time to read through the text once. So when you read through it, you have to make it count. Remember, you have a mission while you read. So you need to be working on accomplishing that mission while you read, which is finding strategies. Because if you're not focused on that, you could kind of be decoding words and reading words and not really getting any understanding from it. If you ever find yourself having read through something only to realize you weren't really paying attention, you were just doing what's called decoding words. So I could write a fake word on here and you could sound it out and never think about the meaning. You have to be thinking about the meaning and engaging with the text and annotating it, looking for strategies while you read because you can only have time to go through it once. And before you start just diving into the text that they provide, it is crucial that you read the introductory information carefully. You must know a few things before you read and before you write. And if you don't know these things, you're not going to be able to intelligently analyze the strategies and analyze why the author is using the strategies and how it's affecting the audience. So you need to read that introductory information and determine who the speaker is and who the audience is. You need to figure out who's speaking, who are they talking to. You also in that introduction need to determine the speaker's purpose or occasion for writing. Now, the great thing about the AP test and this particular essay is if you read carefully, they lay this information out for you in the introductory information. You need to make sure you understand that and you understand all those things enough to talk about them authoritatively and intelligently. Let's take a look at what I mean. For instance, let's look at this prompt here. Here is that crucial introductory information. Okay, you can see the name of the speaker, and they give us who the audience was. Now, this is kind of an implied audience, right? It says he held a news conference. So, who's the audience of a news conference? Media outlets and the people of the United States watching that report. And they give us lots of information as to the occasion, all of this information, and the purpose. Make sure you read that and understand that before you read the text. In that portion, you can determine who the speaker is and who they're speaking to. You can determine the speaker's purpose or occasion for writing in that same portion at the beginning, at the top here. Important to read that. So once you understand all of that information, then you can start reading the text. And while you read, you have a purpose. You need to look for and mark any strategies the author is using. Remember, you only have one time to read through, so you need to be vigilant. Anything that the author does strategically can be considered a strategy. If you don't know an official name for what they're doing, don't let that stop you from talking about what they're doing. The good thing about the AP graders is as long as you really describe what's happening strategically, there are a lot of names that these things can be called, and they give you some room there. If you can describe it effectively, it works. So look for anything that they're doing strategically. Now, the only way that works is if you're familiar with these strategies and you've studied them. So, if you're still at this point not comfortable naming a lot of the strategies authors use, make sure to go back and review those rhetorical strategy mini lessons that we have on our class website. You need to be very familiar with the strategies if you're going to be able to pick them out. Okay? So, once you've read through the text and you've marked the strategies you see being used, pick the 3 to 4 strategies that you feel were most important that you're going to analyze. Now, there are occasions where students pick one strategy and analyze how that strategy is used throughout, and that's very effective. But I would not recommend doing that unless you were very confident in being able to do that well. This is the safest way. Okay. All you have to do at that point is write a thesis statement listing the strategies and then get started. So, for instance, for this prompt, you would want to reset who is speaking, who they're speaking to, and what's it about in that thesis statement, along with the strategy you're going to use. This would be a good example. In his news conference regarding the hike in steel prices, President Kennedy used forced teaming, direct comparisons, and appeals to the audience's emotion in order to influence the nation's view on the issue. The more quickly you can read through, identify strategies, and get a thesis statement down, the more quickly you can begin. And you can focus on really explaining how those strategies work. If you're not confident in how to explain these strategies, remember, review those strategy mini lessons, and also review our review lesson on how to expand your explanations and add depth to them. If you do these things, you should be able to get this done in a more reasonable amount of time.